our Happy Friday. Wade, why don't you do an introduction and then we'll go with Nick and Brent.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. Thank you for the invite, Bobbie. Appreciate it. Introduction real quick, Wade Millward in 30 seconds. I've been in the insurance space for a long time, about 13 years. I come from a legacy of insurance people, right? My grandfather started an insurance agency in 1947. My dad's been working in the agency since the 1970s, and I started back in 2007. Something unique is we've developed a homegrown agency management system. So I was a product owner, I was a producer of insurance. We specifically focus on commercial insurance, and then just last March, started my own insurtech insurance technology company called Rycor, and we are a digital broker and offering a real-time insurance verification platform for the franchise industry. So very excited.
Nice.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nick and Brent, quick intros.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Brent Williams, founder and CEO of Enikiva.
Hi, everyone. Nick Lamparelli, Chief Underwriting Officer at Rethought Insurance. Happy Friday.
So to start with our Happy Friday, we share happy stories of the week, whether that's personal or professional. So who would like to start today?
I can go.
And I'm looking at Nick.
Hi,
Virtually looking at Nick.
Yeah. So happy Friday this week. I think this came out maybe real late at the end of last week, but I'm calling it my Happy Friday story this week because I didn't find out about it till Monday of this week. But Enikiva was chosen as one of the top fintech companies in the state of Iowa, which the reason I think this is pretty cool is, I didn't know anything about it. And so it's nice to be recognized as one of the best companies in the state when you didn't even know it was coming. And, Bobbie and I, we kind of have this mentality of, there's all kinds of lists out there. Nick, you and I have had this conversation of all these, fake lists out there. And there's all kinds of pay to play lists, right? You pay some money and all of a sudden you're an insurtech influencer, right? And so we've kind of been against that since day one, that, if we have to pay to tell our story or share our story or be on the list, well, then it's just not for us. That's not where we're at. So it was pretty exciting to get that this week, that we've been recognized. And of course, so we posted on LinkedIn, and then all of a sudden some people from the state of Iowa are actually responding to the LinkedIn post about, thank you for creating jobs, and thank you for, and so it was really cool to get that. So that was my Happy Friday story. I probably stole Bobbie's, but too bad I went first.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'll one-up you one day. No, just kidding.
Iowa's not a highly populated state, but I hope everyone that's listening to this recognizes that Des Moines is one of the insurance centers of the United States. There are a lot of big time heavy hitters who have their headquarters in Des Moines. Mm-hmm. And so this is not like, a FinTech award where there was one entry. Des Moines is a big time FinTech or financial area, but just because of the gigantic amount of insurance companies that are based there. So this is not trivial. This is a big deal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
My turn?
Thanks.
Yes.
Me? Okay. So I would like to make an announcement. I have a new podcast. It's going to be coming out March 1st. It's going to be called The Yellow Book Road. And it's in reference to the color of the book that P&C insurance companies have to submit to the NAIC. In our lingo, it's just called the Yellow Book. And so it's going to be called the Yellow Book Road, and the podcast is going to be geared towards predominantly mutuals and farm bureaus and regional insurers. And the idea is to have a consistent place where we can discuss, modern best practices in other industries that we can bring over right? So my experience with mutuals and farm bureaus is that, they struggle with more than one thing. So it's their businesses a lot of times are in excess of 100 years old. And so this digitization that has occurred in this past generation has been consequential to them. And so this is more than just like, hey, our tech stack just can't keep up. It is about culture. It is about hiring practices. It's about product development, how they think about products, how they think about their positioning and who they are. And a lot of it stemmed from a few conversations I've had with people in the industry where I asked the question on Twitter. See, Wade, you got to get on Twitter. Where I asked the question on Twitter, if your company disappeared, would anyone care? And I think for a lot of mutuals and farm bureaus, no one would really care. They have a lot of options. And the problem is a lot of the people that work in, the executives in those companies, they don't know that.
Yeah.
I was hearing really silly excuses about like, yeah, of course they would care. We're a 150-year-old company and we have roots in the community and this stuff. And it's like, no, you don't understand the modern digital consumer. They won't care. They have plenty of other options.
Yep.
Easily replaceable. So this podcast is going to be geared around that, going into business models and other things that they can really try to sink their teeth on. So I'm not going to come in and just lecture them and just say, you need to improve your technology. We're going to try to bring people on and try to have, detailed methodologies on how you should be thinking about this thing, how you should be thinking about the decision-making around that. Because I think that's where everyone gets stuck, is not that they don't want to do it, they get paralyzed and they don't do anything. And then they have to make a rash decision and they just decide to spend $10 million on, some system that just really wasn't meant for them. And so that's what this is going to be about. So that's my story, along with I am doing a Hartford InsurTech Symposium. He said, she said, with yours truly and our guest, Wade Millward, and we're going to be representing the startup land. So if you get a chance, sign up for this.
That was so cool. Yeah.
It is going to be comedic.
Yeah. The last one I did was hilarious.
The last one was like one of the best parts of the symposium. Awesome. I think that's the feedback that they got too. So
it was fun.
Yeah, we've got a lot to live up to. We better make it good, Nick.
Bob Frady, we're gonna
take him down.
Top act to follow, guys. Bob Frady, top act to follow.
I know he was good. He made that funny.
He's got a little advantage. I mean, Bob used to be a stand-up comedian, so I think he can walk into any conversation and make it funny.
Don't worry, Wade. We got this. We got
y'all's back. We'll be attending virtually and cheering you guys on.
That's
but
right.
Nick,
That's right.
A couple of comments before we move to another happy story is I love that podcast. I think that is so important. Our team attended a similar conference with a similar size audience on the life side, and we were going to actually come up with some type of a marketing slogan, because the entire time the entire focus has been around new business, right? Which is important.
Yep.
Underwriting, how do we do that? Yes, important. And only not 0.22% of that entire conversation was about claims. And you know our stance on claims. We think that's a customer experience issue, and that's money that people are leaving off the table, because how much percentage? 94, 96% of claims don't ever return. The money does not go back to the insurance carrier. So that is like warm leads that the industry is not utilizing. And I'm really excited to see what kind of conversation and business model optimization comes from that industry. I think that's, can't be talking about new business and underwriting all the time. There's tools out there that do that. Now it's about taking steps and also focusing on some optimizations on your back office, because that hurts your customer experience.
Completely. I mean, it's one of the lessons we've learned is customer experience, how important that is in a business model. And so, Bobbie, it gets even deeper than that, like customer experience. For a lot of these mutuals, it's like, well, who's your customer?
Yeah,
and there's
that
like
is true.
a shrug, like, so they don't even know who they should be obsessing over, trying to make their lives better. There's a lot of confusion.
No, that's exciting. Wade, would you like to go next?
Yeah, just some comments too on that. I think what you guys are talking about, like, I totally resonates, right? Because they've been so fixated on new business and digital distribution, on all this stuff, and they're forgetting about all the back office work that's happening, and they're losing all the customers in the back door. And it's like, it's retention and everything. And I mean, you start focusing on that, and you're going to have a better experience for everybody. You're going to have more money, because what happens when they're focused on the digital distribution or just distribution alone is they're just trading market share. That's all they're doing. They're just passing it back and forth, and not just retain. Like, how do we do that? How do we keep them in? Right? That's the goal. And then just like, you know, what you're talking about, Nick, with like the regionals and stuff like that, like the 150-year legacy, all that does is work against them, in my opinion. They have to unlearn what they've learned and do something different, which is so challenging. And so I would hope that you really push that, right, with I mean, I'm not assuming it was what your podcast is going to be about, is like getting this new life, this new innovation, you know, other concepts outside of the insurance industry and bringing them into the space. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. That's good.
True. I can't wait to have all of you guys on.
Yeah, we'll just go over there. We'll just shift over. Go back and forth. Okay, so I was thinking about this. I have so many things to be grateful for, to be honest. So I'm going to get a little sentimental with you guys for a second, because I think it's important that we share our stories and share our journey about how we, you know, came to be and how we, you know, how we got to this point. For me specifically, so I'm first, I'll just address, I'm thankful for, there she is. I'm thankful for audiobooks. Now, I want to explain why I'm thankful for audiobooks. Several years ago, when I first started my career, I thought I got into the career. I did not go to college. School was not a fit for me. And I didn't know how to learn, right? That was the biggest challenge I had, is I had no idea how to learn. And so I just got in, and I started to grind, and I put my head down, and I just did, that's it. This is the way my life was going to be. And that's what I accepted. And so it's kind of interesting, because finally I started to come to a point in my life where, you know, 6 years into my career, I'm like, there's got to be more than just what I'm doing. But I still was stuck. So I started to take continuing education courses. That was fine. I started to learn. I started to crave to learn. But the question became, how do I learn? What is the best way for me to learn? I couldn't, like, I'll admit it, like, reading books is not my strong suit. Like, I have terrible reading comprehension. I get distracted, right? Whenever I fall asleep. So I came across audiobooks finally a few years back. And I remember one of my mentors telling me, he was a great mentor. He is a great mentor, because he would tell me what to read and tell me what to research, but he wouldn't necessarily give me the answers. And so I thank him to this day for that. And one of the first books he told me to read was, what's his name? Eric Rye's,
Lean Startup.
Lean Startup. Everybody, thank you. And I remember going back and I looked, that was the first book I read, and all of a sudden it got me to starting to read these books. I mean, and I incorporated that, created a habit. I actually listened to my books while I work out, and I started to increase the speed over time, because again, I got bored very quickly. And last year, my goal was to read 50 books, and I read 59 books, which is reading, listening. This year, I'm already on my 12th book, which is very exciting for me. And so I know that I would not be where I'm at today with my business without learning. Like, you have to have that culture. You have to establish continuous learning. I mean, that's the only way, in my opinion, to get you to that next level. You start to then believe in yourself. You start to build a confidence in yourself. You start to think that you can actually get this thing done. And then you start to learn about how to get stuff done. Like, there's so many things that I've gone through already. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I learned that like a month ago, I learned that like 6 months ago. It's like, where would I be, you know? And so I just want to shed some hope out there for people that are like me, that like, I don't know how to learn. I don't know where to start. It's like, figure out how to learn first, what is best for you, and then just start. Just start small, start simply, just start. That's all. That's my message. That's my being grateful.
Well, I have a book recommendation for you to read. or to listen
Excellent.
to. It's actually better to listen to the book than read it. And maybe you read it or not, I don't know, but it's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
David Goggins. Yep.
That book will change your mindset for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wade, Lean Startup was the first audiobook I ever listened to.
What? We're brothers. We're book brothers.
Yeah. I don't have the book. I have the audiobook. And
Yeah.
I've listened to it a couple times, and you know, people learn in different ways. I think it's very important, the message that you just had, that you just gave. You know, some people I'm more of a visual learner, but even as a visual learner, like words on a page, I'm like you. Even though I'm a visual learner, I get easily distracted, and my eyes will wander all over the place, and reading books by itself is difficult. I have to tie it into something else. But the way I learn the most is like in person or video.
Yeah.
Like, I'm visual. Like, I need to see things and kind of, you know, I'm more kinesthetic. I need to touch things and play with numbers and stuff like that. But there are a lot of people who are audio, you know, they need to listen, they need to hear it. And that's how they do it. And you have, poor children that grow up where the teachers kind of focus on one area, but they, the teachers focus on visual, but the kids audio, that's a problem. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yep.
You guys are just motivating me to do more audio, because honestly, I am so old school. I gotta have a book. Like, it's like everybody's in audiobooks, and I have not taken that leap. So I think, Wade, I may try. I may ping you after this and get started. This is the beauty of Happy Fridays. I think we've incorporated so many good habits internally by other people's best practices.
Yeah.
So I'll end with my happy story, which is it's around so as a founder, right? I think we all struggle with, maybe you guys don't, but I struggle with, you know, that if I own something, you know, like I'm also a perfectionist, you know, like I like control. I like my process. I like to know things are going to happen, and I'm a perfectionist. And I had product, I had delivery for Ben Kiva, but that's kind of like when I do a demo, for example, it has to be perfect. Like, I spend a lot of time. So my aha moment has been this week, because this week has been very crazy. This entire year started off crazy for Ben Kiva. We've got 3 implementations already scheduled, and we've got a brand new team that we're training and new staff, right? So on top of that, you know, I've had to figure out how to let go some of these things that I know that my other staff can do. One of which is the entire demo setup, right? Like, we have very qualified people in our team that could take a script that I've created and can do it, right? At the preliminary conversation, I could be there in the later conversations, but the preliminary, so I had an aha moment to say, I think I could have freed up so much time this week if I had just delegated. And guess what I did? I created a plan, wrote it down, and delegated. and honestly, guys, it's so small, but it just mentally, it was so freeing. It was like I was talking to both Brent and Sovin, like our other founders, about it, and I was like, I had an aha moment, and and actually my other founder, Sovin, was the one that said, why are you doing it? You know, and he gave me this long lecture of my time, my utilization, and was like, you know, why am I doing that? I'm going to change. Boom. and it was very freeing experience. And we've got a plan, you know, Brent heads up sales, and we've got a plan it just made my day yesterday, because the last 2 days, including yesterday, I was not able to work out because it was just so crazy. And I even committed to yesterday. I was like, I'm going to do an hour bike and I'm doing 40 burpees. Guess what I did? And because I was celebrating the fact that I was eating a donut, was because I had these things on the plan. It didn't happen. So today I'm going to definitely already did my 25 burpees, already did my first round of workout. Later today, I'm doing my bike ride. But Fit Fam, I was a little disappointing yesterday, but I'm back at it today.
Nice.
Bobbie,
That's awesome.
what Bobbie fails to tell you is we've had this conversation multiple times. Because,
Hard.
well,
It's hard no matter how many times, the founders like Brent and so on will say to you, like, okay, you can delegate. You're at the point in our company, you've got to be comfortable. And I think yesterday it was like my last straw, right? I was just so much has been going on. And yeah, it's like, why am I not doing that?
Yeah, and Bobbie is very passionate, and she is a perfectionist, but there are certain tasks that, while she says this is, getting rid of a small thing, to me, it's getting rid of a big thing, because now that frees her up to do more of the things that she actually should be doing, which is overall strategy, overall setup. Where's the company going? Where, those are the things she needs to be working on. She should not be setting up demo environments for a demo coming up next week.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So guys, founders, like you guys are gonna go through the same thing. When you have that aha moment, just go with it. Don't doubt yourself. It just go for it, because it will be so freeing. And then you're gonna have other founder in your team like Brent that will say, "I told you so. I told you so." And then you just smile and say, "I know, but it wasn't my time. It's my time now." And you just go with it.
Yeah. I preach to my team all the time that like, you need to be able to peer out 6 months to a year. It's like, you might be able to do it now, but can you do it in 6 months? Can you do it in a year? And a lot of times they can view and say, yeah, I probably won't be doing that. I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing now so that you can get rid of it, versus not doing anything, and then you can't get rid of it because you're the only one that can do that, and it's painful to do that.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm with you.
I was going to say something about that too. It's there's two things that make good companies become great, and it's great people, right? You have to have great people on your team. You have to respect the great people on your team. And so what you're talking about is, once you start onboarding great people, you respect them to do a good job, right? So you have to get that off your plate and get it to the great people, and give them the autonomy and empower them to do that job to the best of their ability. And that's what gets that company from good to great, and it becomes an enduring, a long-lasting company. You ingrain that culture in the very beginning, and you're set.
Yeah, that's a great point. We have that opportunity because we're a young company. We've grown very rapidly. I can think of, the middle of 2018, it was 3 of us, and now I think we're pushing 50. So we've grown quite a bit.
Awesome.
For a lot of time, but we have that opportunity. We have the opportunity to create our own culture, and where we're at.
Awesome.
Almost did the queen dance of I want to break free yesterday. Okay, guys, anything else we want to share with our community?
Happy weekend.
Happy Friday, guys. Wade, thank you so much for joining, and keep posting your LinkedIn content. It's pretty amazing. If you guys don't follow Wade, really good, just rawness that comes out of your post. I love it. That's how we connected. So
pick that up, bring it to Twitter, drop it.
Yes.
I gotta find this fit, whatever it is. I gotta check that
Just
out.
add us. We'll add you.
Wait.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, there's a little drop down when you post in LinkedIn that says push this to Twitter too.
Oh,
he's got to get it connected.
This technology is, I don't know, it's beyond me, guys. It's beyond me.
You may get addicted.
Caveman broker Wade. All this technology, I'm so confused.
I know insurance technology is my wheelhouse, and then you get like social media tech. I'm like, what is this? How do I post something? I'll check it out. That's awesome.
But happy Friday, guys. Until next time.
Okay, thank you.